Hi, in this video I'll show you what it means to write an equation, what it means to solve an equation, and actually I'll show you the steps for solving a very simple equation. So let's look at what I have on the board. When we write 6 over 2 equals 3, that means 6 over 2 and 3 are the same point on the number line. That is the meaning of this equal sign. We have a number here, a number here. If you put an equal sign in between, you're saying those two are the same numbers, or in other words, those are the same point on the number line. And you know that's true. You know 6 over 2 and 3 are the same point on the number line. And so we're justified to put an equal sign in between them. Now let's look at what I have here. What does it mean when we write something like x minus 3 equals 5? What does this mean? The right hand side is not a mystery. It's the number 5 and we know it as a point on the number line. The left hand side has a letter in it. How can we have x minus 3 and then we're putting equal sign and putting a number? So if you were to put this on the number line just like we plotted these, it's easy to put 5 on the number line. But what is this letter x minus 3? How do I understand it as a number? So for that I have to say anytime we write what we call an equation like this with a letter in it, that is a shorthand notation for the question, are there any numbers x for which x minus 3 and 5 are the same number? Or in other words, same point on the number line. So let's look at this question again. You're looking for numbers x such that then x minus 3 becomes a number, and that number and 5 you would like it to be the same number. So when you write this equation with a letter x, that is really a quicker way of asking this question. Are there any numbers x such that this number then x minus 3 would exactly be 5. It's almost like an invitation to you, asking you to figure out numbers x such that x minus 3, which is now a number, equals 5. That's what it means. So let's discuss on the other board what it means to solve this equation and how to solve the equation and so on. So here I have solve x minus 3 equals 5. That really means find all numbers x for which the number x minus 3 is equal to 5. So writing the sentence or writing solve x minus 3 equals 5 conveys the same meaning. Often we choose to write this because it's simply shorter, with the understanding that that really means find all numbers x for which the number x minus 3 is equal to 5. So let's go ahead and find that number x using the number line. So on the number line, I choose a point and label it as 5 and x minus 3 because x minus 3 equals 5, so they're the same point. And I would like to know if there is a number or x on the number line so that x minus 3 is 5. I proceed as follows. I look at a point that is 3 units to the right of this point. So 3 units to the right of point, that point gives me this point. What is its name? Well, if this point is 5, 3 units to the right of it would be 5 plus 3 or 8. But this point's name is also x minus 3. So 3 units to the right of this point, x minus 3 is x minus 3 plus 3, which you will say is simply x. So there, what I'm noticing is this point's name is x, this point's name is also 8. So that means x equals 8. Let's see if x equals 8 is the number I'm looking for. Well, if you put 8 back into the equation, we get 8 minus 3, which is 5, and 5 does equal 5. So in fact, x equals 8 is the number we were looking for. We call x equals 8 the solution to the equation. We also, what I just did when I put 8 back into the equation, and notice that it works. In other words, 8 minus 3 is 5. 5 does equal 5. That is called, sometimes we say x equals 8 satisfies the equation. So repeating again, x equals 8 satisfies the equation and x equals 8 is a solution to the equation, and we are done. Now I want to give you a way to record the discussion so that we don't always have to draw the number line to get our solution, because sometimes if these numbers are fractions or some of the big numbers, then it would be difficult to and cumbersome to always do our work on the number line. So this is how we proceed. I'll give you 2 styles, beginner write-up style, and you can use this for about 6 months, and later on, once you get pretty good at solving equations, you should move on to this final write-up style. So for the beginner write-up style, we assume there is a number x such that x minus 3 equals 5. So we write that here. And then we want to now say that we moved 3 units to the right. So to write that, we say 3 equals 3. We draw a line like this. And remember, moving to the right, 3 units to the right meant adding 3 to 5 to get 8, adding 3 to x minus 3 to get your x. That's really same as here adding the 2 left hand sides, x minus 3 plus 3, that gives us x, and here 5 plus 3, that gives us 8, and there is our x equals 8. Same thing that we got out here. And always remember, if you proceed in this manner, once you get x equals 8, be sure to put it back into the equation and make sure x equals 8 satisfies the equation, and then you can say x equals 8 is the solution, and once you find the solution, then you have solved the equation. For the final write-up style, eventually what you're aiming for, it is really these steps written up slightly differently. This is how we proceed. Once again, we assume we do have a number x such that x minus 3 equals 5. Knowing that we have it, we try to find it as follows. We write the equation x minus 3 equals 5, and now we would like to add 3 to both sides of the equation. We would like to add 3 to both of those numbers and try to think through why we are adding 3 and not another number. And we write it in this manner. Same thing as this, x minus 3 plus 3, but this time I write it in one step on the left hand side. 5 plus 3, instead of this vertical format, I just have 5 plus 3 written horizontally. And notice, x minus 3 and 5 are the same point, and that's why we can put an equality sign. What we are saying is, if you add 3 to x minus 3, we move 3 units to the right, and adding 3 to 5 means we move 3 units to the right. So what it means is x minus 3 plus 3 and 5 plus 3 end up being the same point on the number line. That's why we can put this equality sign here. Now here we can see x minus 3 plus 3 is simply x, and here we get 5 plus 3 is 8, and there's the solution. So if you're comfortable with this write-up style, you may even skip this beginner write-up style. But if this is a little bit easier for you to do, then that's also fine. Remember, we do have to add the same number to both sides. The reason for that is, in order to put the equal sign, if you take this point whose label is x minus 3 and 5, if you add the same number to x minus 3 and 5, then we end up at the same point again, and then we can put the equality sign as this one. That's why. Review through this video, and we'll do more examples in other videos. Thank you.